What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update. A few things to get through today, and let's start off with Cameron Carter-Vickers, as Ali Gold says that Carter-Vickers' loan spell has been a big success and Celtic are expected to take up the option to buy him. However, the centre-back has also been interesting a growing number of Premier League clubs, and he could have a decision to make this summer. So bring on the bidding war for Cameron Carter-Vickers. Finally!
Finally, people actually want him, which is good. Apparently, he could go up to 10 million there, some people were saying earlier. So he did, I believe he got in the Scottish Team of the Year. I think he's been a massive success there. I think it was Chris Sutton, I'm not sure if it was him, who said he was his Scottish Player of the Year. He said he was the best player in Scotland this season.
Yeah, he said He said like he couldn't believe how he wasn't in the running for Player of the Year, and he's been head and shoulders above everyone in the league this year.
So very impressive. So look, clearly the finally we've had a loan move which he's needed. He's now must be getting on a bit now. What, 24? Must
Probably
be
something like that.
Yeah,
But, the last great defender to come out of Scotland was Virgil van Dijk. Do you reckon we could be ruining the chance of letting Cameron Carter-Vickers go?
Yeah, he's the next Van Dijk. what are we letting go? Look, I'm not saying he's bad. Clearly, he's done well, and I think he's done well at other loan spells as well. This isn't the only loan spell he's done well at.
Yeah,
but whenever he's played for Tottenham, he hasn't quite done it. And I think it's time that we cash in. We keep giving 1 year extensions, so we'll see. Look, I wish him all the best.
Do you reckon Levy looks at this loan move, gives him another extension, and be like, all right, if they're offering me up to 10 million now, maybe I can get up to 20 million?
Wouldn't be surprised. That's a very Levy thing to do.
All right, let's move on. And a lot of the names we're going to be talking about, we have spoken about a lot, but these names are doing the rounds of the press the last 24 hours. But let's talk about Youri Tielemans now. Dan Kilpatrick saying today that Tielemans is been monitored by Spurs and Arsenal, also keen. Champions League football is a big pull for him. We've spoken about him a lot in the past. I mean, is he the player that you'd really want in that role that we're talking about, the kind of Jorginho role?
I don't think he's the perfect player for it. I think he's a very good player, and I think he could potentially be an upgrade in our midfield options, but I don't think if we're looking like a player who's going to be the perfect option for that role, I wouldn't say it's him. I think he does have some flaws and a few attitude problems as well, which potentially could mean that he doesn't fulfill his potential as much as he should. But you can't deny the quality, his passing range, and especially his long-range shooting is up there with the best in the league. But it's the other side of his game that's sometimes found wanting, and I've seen a lot of Leicester fans complaining that he can't run beyond 60 minutes. So it reminds me of another Ndombele in that sense. So unless...
Has that been a long-standing problem with him, or was that just this season?
Don't know, you have to ask Leicester fans, but I know I've seen them complaining about it.
As in you've seen them complaining this season?
Yeah. So...
Because I feel like... this year he has had a drop-off in quality and his application, but actually like the previous years he's been a lot better. But maybe because of this whole thing that he's wanted to leave, maybe it's just like crept in his mind a bit too much.
Yeah, you cast your mind back to last season when he scored that goal in the FA Cup final, didn't he? And everyone was in love with him. But this season it just hasn't been the same from him. That's given people a lot of reservation. So I don't think. Look, I'm not saying I wouldn't want to sign him, but he wouldn't be my first choice.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Steven Bergwijn once again. And Mike Verwey of the, I think is the Telegraph out in Holland, is saying that Ajax are now very serious about finally completing the signing of Steven Bergwijn from Tottenham this summer. And all signals are pointing to the move being completed this summer. So, look, it's going to be unfortunate for him to leave, but it is what it is at the end of the day. And look, if he's not going to get minutes here, he wants to have more minutes starting games as well, so I think it's going to probably suit all parties for him to move on.
Yeah, and he's doing the safe thing, going back to Holland where he knows he's going to be respected. He's going to start most games, going to an Ajax team under new management next season, so it'll be a fresh start for the team, and he might see himself being part of that, and he definitely knows that if he's in Holland, if he does well, he'll be noticed, because especially for the World Cup. The Dutch team will take note of that. If you actually look at the Dutch squad, a lot of them are from the Dutch league, obviously, even though there's a lot of good Dutch players around Europe. So I think it makes sense for him. for that, and I'm sure he'll enjoy himself, the type of football he'll want to play as well over in Ajax.
And it'll be a resounding success there as well.
I'm sure he will be. I'm sure he was great for PSV. He was scoring loads of goals for them. So I'm sure he'll go to Ajax and go from strength to strength, and maybe he'll get another big move. Maybe it reminds me a bit like maybe Memphis Depay. I know Depay hasn't done so well at Barca, but I like maybe it reminds me of someone who'll go back to the Dutch league, he'll do really well, and then he'll finally get another big move.
Yeah, I kind of looking at it the same way, to be honest. Let's move on to another potential outgoing in Sergio Reguilon. John Cross from the Mirror is saying that Barca are targeting Sergio Reguilon this summer, but Real Madrid do have a valid buyback clause this summer for £27.5 million. Do you see this one being a viable one for Barcelona? I mean, we've spoken about it quite a bit in the past as well.
I don't think he's going to go to Barca in the summer. I mean, Jordi Alba is getting on a bit, but I don't think they spend the money. They probably have their sights a bit higher than Reguilon. As much as Reguilon, I'd rate Reguilon, especially at left back. I think he's good, but I don't think Barca are going to splash 30 million on him. And I think it's more likely that if like Madrid will sign him back and then look to sell him on or something like that, or maybe have him as backup for next season, or he could stay at Tottenham. But I don't see him going to Barca. I think that's unlikely.
Interesting. I'm not too sure on the matter, to be honest, but we'll have to see how that one plays out in the summer. But will you lose too much sleep over Reguilon leaving?
Oh, well, no, not at the moment. I just don't think he's most fitted for how Conte wants to play. And I think when he needs that responsibility to get forward, unless there's a lot of space for him, when he has to take people on and stuff like that, he seems to struggle a bit.
And it was off the back as well of a report I saw yesterday. I think Ali Gold was talking about it, how he was saying that Conte thinks Sessegnon can be a really, really good left-back, a top-quality left-back, and he's got all the qualities. He just needs to bring it out in him.
Yeah, the only thing holding Sessegnon back is injuries. That's the reality. So every time he gets a run, he seems to get halted by a muscle injury, which has been holding it back for a long time now at Tottenham, and he's just come back from another one, and he played very well last game, so let's hope he keeps up from now to the end of the season. And I do think he's more suited to left wing back role than Reguilon, as much as I think at left back I'd rather Reguilon, but at left wing back I think Sessegnon's probably a better fit.
Yeah, I'd agree with that one. But let's move on. Let's talk about Harry Kane now. Dan Kilpatrick says the likelihood is that Harry Kane will continue his quest for honours at Spurs at least until next summer, but he wants Antonio Conte to be backed, and this is pretty much what we were saying yesterday. I mean, I do think it's kind of irrelevant if we finish 4th or 5th, but the main point is that if Conte is backed, Harry Kane will stay.
Yeah.
To stay.
That's the thing. It's all about want. And I think that the reality is he's more likely to get the backing that he wants if we're in the Champions League. So it's so vital that, look, I'm sure he'll get backing if we're not, but will he get backing to the level that he needs? It's a big question. Will all the players that we want come if we're not in Champions League? I'm sure some will, but I'm sure some won't as well. There will be players we might miss out on because we're not in Champions League. That's just the reality we have to face if we don't get top 4. So it's why it's so crucial. As much as it might not be as detrimental as some people make out, like it's going to ruin us or anything. I don't think that's the case. But the fact of the matter is, we might not be at our best in the summer in terms of recruitment and all this kind of stuff if we're not in Champions League, and that's just the reality.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is if you're not in the Champions League, you need to do things more smart.
Yeah.
And, we've recruited big players before when not being in the Champions League. Just look at January with Kulusevski and Bentancur, and in the summer with Christian Romero as well. So we just need to bring in more players of that kind.
But we also got rejected from other players because we weren't in the Champions League, and that's just that's facts.
Yeah. Moving on, let's talk about Jose Mourinho now. He has been talking with Sky Sports on his sacking from Spurs, and the quotes is, yes, it hurt. I don't have regrets. I don't have bad feelings. There are lots of nice people in Tottenham, and I wish them the best, even to Mr. Levy. Then he also says that, but for a guy with my career and my history, I think it was a strange thing to happen, but in the end, it opened the door for me to be in Rome, and I'm very happy here in Rome.
Yeah, I'm guessing he's just been asked about it a lot, which is why, because he's reached another final. Fair play to him. Got to the Conference League final, and that's not an easy thing to do. And he's still, I think, in the top 6 in Serie A. So I think Roma, you got to say, have had a good season. He's done well for them. considering where they've been over the last few years, I think he's come in and done a good job for them. And I think no manager should have been put in the position or should have been treated like he was just before the cup final. That's not right from any board to do just before a cup final. If a manager's been there throughout the whole season and got them into that position, I think he has a right to take him through it, especially just before it. I think it's ridiculous. There's one thing if you sack him, a few months before because he's not doing his job right, but 6 days before the final, you've got to give him the chance to try and win it. And we all know what happened. So I understand that he was hurt by it, and that's just how we run. We do things. We don't think about football first. We always think about other things, and that's probably why.
If you get to a cup final, you'll get sacked 6 days before. But there's been some new rulings in the Champions League, or some new, apparently, rulings that are close to being agreed for the Champions League. The Athletic are saying that UEFA are close to agreeing a plan to give 2 Champions League places to teams that fail to qualify through their league but have strong European records. I mean, this just stinks of like Super League kind of mentality to me.
UEFA have agreed. What was to say that again?
Basically, UEFA are going to give 2 applicants Champions League spots that don't finish in the Champions League spots in their league if they've had like a long-standing European holding. They've been in the Champions League a lot of times. Let's say Manchester United, for instance, could be given it this year if the rules come in this year, because they've been in it a lot in the past.
It says UEFA have agreed a new format for the Champions League from 2024, which will award 2 places to countries whose clubs have the best records in Europe over that season. So it's 1 season. I'm very confused. Exactly what the rule is.
The Athletic are saying that strong European records, so they'll be giving it to clubs.
But here, so it was over that season. In that season.
Well, we've got a different thing. The Athletic is saying something slightly different.
I haven't seen exactly what's been agreed. I'm very confused. But obviously, if clubs are getting in after having a poor season just by the virtue of having previously good European records, that's a bit of a weird. It's a bit of a strange ruling, because to qualify for that, the next season's Champions League should be based on what you've just been on that season. Exactly. So it doesn't make sense to me. But I don't exactly know what the ruling is. I need more clarification on what exactly. Here we are. Europe's leading clubs and UEFA are close to agreeing a compromise on the controversial plan to give Champions League place to 2 teams that failed to qualify via their leagues but have a strong European records. If it is in place this season, the original proposal for the Champions League that starts in 24-25 would have given teams like United, Roma, Villarreal all outside the qualification spots in their domestic league a potential backdoor. But that plan has been strongly criticised, and in recent weeks it seems these sentiments have won the day, with the UEFA president Surfman changing his mind about the coefficient places.
I see.
But as so often in football, when sporting principles meet economic realities, the latter usually has the last word. I'm trying to get to what the actual rule is. So it's not. So they've changed it. Is my point. The actual what they were originally going to do.
So what have they changed it to?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. It says using the country coefficient and reducing the historic time frame from 5 years to 1, it is believed to be more in line with the principle that European football is a prize to be earned from season to season. Okay, so they're saying
is if that an English team goes far in the Champions League, they'll offer an extra place to the English team. Is that what English teams? Is that what they're saying?
I think as performances in those competitions could make all the difference when the coefficient places are handed out. It's understood that the ECA has accepted that countries should be limited to a maximum of 5 spots in the Champions League, so it's now unlikely that all the Premier League Big Six could qualify for the tournament in the same season. This will please the so-called 14 in England. I think that's what it is. The top 4 countries get 7 berths, 4 in the Champions League, 2 in Europa League, with the next 2 countries. So England has the highest coefficient. So I think maybe it's saying, one sec, the most popular of these options is one that would use UEFA's coefficient, not the club ranking, while cutting the number of seasons taken in from 5 to 1. So I think it's saying if let's say Man United get to the semi-final and then don't finish in the Champions League
They'll
spots,
qualify for the next year.
yeah, I think that's what they're saying.
Even that is not really right, is it?
I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say it's right, but it's not like the worst thing in the world.
It's not like what it was before.
No.
I mean, it's better than what it was before. I grant you that. But why do they need to change things? There's no need for it.
To make sure that the best team's always in it, I guess. That's what they want to make sure. For revenues and all that kind of stuff.
But like the Champions League is such a great tournament without trying to incentivize people for getting far, and if you don't do well in your league to be in it for next season. It's already the greatest tournament in the world. I mean, they don't need to do all this kind of stuff, in my opinion. Yeah,
but I'm not really sure the actual reason. It's just for money, just more money. That's what it is. So if a team is doing well in Europe, I'm guessing it also count for Europa League as well. If a team gets far in Europa League and they're not in the Champions League spaces, if their coefficient is the highest, they might get an outdoor shot of getting back in the Champions League. That's what it is. I don't know. I don't have anything massively against it, to be honest. I'm not like massively in favour of it, but I don't think it's that big of a deal.
And last but not least, Troy Parry has ended his loan at MK Dons following their departure from the playoffs. Scored a brilliant goal the other night with a bullet header, with like a curling header into the top corner.
Yeah, looping header, I think it was.
His season in numbers, played 43 games, scored 9, assisted 6, which has been much, much better than he has ever done in any other of his loan spells. Some brilliant goals has been in there. And it seems as though like Troy Parry has grown up a lot on this loan spell, hasn't it?
Yeah, and he seems to be saying the right things. A lot of the MK Don fans have been singing his praises even when he hasn't scored goals, and that shows that... I think that shows that he's doing things other than just the headline, scoring goals and getting assists. But he's also doing the hard work as well that you don't get to see, which obviously is getting appreciated by fans who go week in, week out. And obviously he's been talking a lot about that he needs to grow up and needs to start making a difference in every game and not taking it easy and letting up. And it seems like his mentality has definitely shifted, and he's had a good loan spell. Fair play to him. And hopefully next season, I think he'll have another one. I don't think he's ready to come to the first team, but I'm glad he's moving again in the right direction finally.
Absolutely. So it's going to be another keen eye next year on Troy Parry. Hopefully he can get a championship loan next year, and as well with others like Dane Scarlett and Alfie Devine going out on loan next year as well. So a lot of players to keep our keen eye on. But that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any thoughts regarding any of the news stories we brought to you today. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.